Time to talk the round ball code. We call it football. And the man from Football Nation Radio, FNR, is Athos Sirianos. G'day, my boy.
Hello, George.
Busy week and some exciting football.
Certainly. Well, teams all around the world are preparing for one final scramble for silverware in the Champions League and in our very own backyard in the A-League.
What did you make of the game last night, City and Western United?
Quite a fun game to watch. We saw several of the youth from both sides make appearances. Great to see young Mudi Najjar grab his debut goal. He struck it so well on his left foot. And then we saw a few of the older heads come on towards the end and put the pressure on, got some miles in the legs before quite an exciting final series to come.
Jamie McLaren settled it once and for all. He is the golden boot yet again.
Yes, outright. The third season where he's kicked over 20 goals in the A-League. A fantastic return. He's the only player to do it. We know he's gone to Europe. Where will he return? Will that offer be on the table? We're yet to see, but he remains a vital part of City's team now that they enter the final series.
Now, speaking of the final series, we'll talk about those in just a moment. You talked about overseas as well. Overnight, we've heard that Tom Rogic, the Celtic man, may well be on his way to Qatar,
yes,
where of course the World Cup is going to be played in 2022. What are you hearing about that? Has that been confirmed, or is it still up in the air?
So the club hasn't been made official yet.
Okay.
It's been.
But he is definitely going to Qatar.
Unnamed club, yes. So he has spent 7 years at Celtic. He started there really well. He was given the vice captaincy, a fan favourite, and then towards the end, he wasn't being used as much, and a lot of people, especially in Australia, were quite vocal in him trying to seek a move elsewhere. They wanted him to go to Europe like a few of his other Socceroo teammates.
Improve his game, yeah?
He couldn't find a move. So he still is quite young, only 27, 28. So a few more years ahead, you'd think, in his career.
Someone who has found a club, Trent Sainsbury.
Yes, he, like a host of other Australians, are now in Belgium. We know Kevin Muscat, he's doing quite well.
But he hasn't gone to the Muscat franchise, he's gone to another one of the clubs.
He sure has, and
what do you think?
Lining up.
It is important that he plays meaningful minutes with a good grade of football.
Absolutely. He's a walk-up star in the Socceroos. He had a fantastic World Cup campaign.
Yep.
But George, all national teams, managers want players to be playing week in, week out. And if they're not playing for their clubs every week, then the chances of them playing for the national team are quite slim. So we're hoping that he can get some regular football in Belgium, build his confidence back up, and then slot right back into the Socceroos lineup. Now,
we mentioned that the Golden Boot was clearly nominated and anointed last night with Jamie McLaren. Early in the week, we got news that the Alex Tobin medal was going to someone also who's been in pretty decent form. In fact, has probably been one of the key players to making sure that Western United made its finals in its inaugural year.
Certainly, and that was one Alessandro Diamante. He's played in the Premier League, made his name in Serie A, Italian international. He's done it all, and he's brought a real positive flair to the A-League. He's not only done incredibly well on the pitch, but he's, I think, done quite a bit to grow the game outside. He's got a large following on social media.
Yep.
He's had some incredible fun on Instagram.
He's dragging the youngsters with him as well. They love that.
He is. And look, Western United, they've received a lot of flack for the way they've maybe run their club and with the stadium deal, but they've given us so much on the field, and that was a big reason why we wanted expansion, to put new clubs in, to give us brand new derbies, brand new fixtures, brand new narratives on the field, and they've certainly provided this, and now in their first season finished fourth on the table.
Now tell me, there was a club, I think it was called Melbourne Victory, that wanted to bring Alessandro Diamante. Is this the same Diamante that the FFA said at the time, we don't know who he is and we don't know whether he has enough skill and talent to bring to the league?
Yes, so the Victory wanted to bring him in 2016 under the Tim Cahill rule, where the FFA would lend some money to help bring over a marquee, but they didn't see him as a big enough player to attract interest. And he is here now. He's just signed a 2-year deal, so we will get to see plenty of him in the years to come.
Yeah, but could you imagine if we'd got him 2 years earlier, 2 years younger, 2 years hungrier? Would have been pretty exciting. Would have made Melbourne Victory a pretty potent outfit. And they were, I think that was one of the years when they were very close to winning, if not were the winners. So it would have made them even more compelling, and successful club than they have been. So where do we go now? It's the finals. who faces who,
It is the
and
finals.
who do you reckon is going to get to the bottom of this and end up playing Sydney and now City?
Well, Wellington and Perth play off on Saturday at 4:30. Now, this is an interesting tie because I feel both teams have been underwhelming to an extent since the restart.
Yep.
We know Wellington are an incredibly exciting side, but they just didn't really give us enough since
And
coming
they've
back.
lost a couple of senior players.
They have. We still have guys like Ulysses De Vere and Gary Hooper still running around. So hopefully now that the finals kicks in and we're at the point here and they can kick back into gear. Perth Glory, they've lost Diego Castro. They've known this for quite some time now. A big reason as to why they've fallen off is perhaps because they don't know how to work without him there. But this is a cutthroat match. Tony Popovic has been here before, so he'll galvanise his team, I'm sure.
I think Castro was hid a lot of the shortcomings of the club because he was so skilled, so talented. He was someone who could see the play before it opened up, and those passes, that movement. I think now we're starting to realise how truly special he was for Perth.
Very
now that
important.
he's missing. All right, the other game.
Well, Western United, because of their
result
loss
last night,
yesterday,
yep.
they now face Brisbane Roar. Warren Moon's Brisbane Roar, who are quite a solid and compact outfit. They've got Scott McDonald up there, who faces his former side. It was only just recently that he was one of the big signings at Western United.
Some inside knowledge, perhaps,
Perhaps, and
for Moon to work on.
And I think he'll have a point to prove. He'll really want to go out and score against his former employers.
Okay, and who plays who now? The winner of the Saturday game plays Sydney.
Well, this is where it gets a bit interesting. So
Okay.
Melbourne City will take the highest ranked team out of the two winners.
Okay.
And Sydney will take the lowest ranked team. So we won't actually know who's playing who until
results
the
are played on
results
the
are
weekend.
Played, yes.
Athos, have you got a prediction? Sydney has got to the stage now where everyone's saying they're sort of drifted towards the end of the title, and watching them pick up the so-called trophy at the end looked a bit lame, which is not fair because they've been outstanding all season. But certainly that was one of the criticisms that come out of the week.
Well, it didn't help that they didn't win
Yeah.
on the day that they lifted the trophy. There is a chance that they can meet Western United in that semi-final. Now, that is shaping up as a very tasty fixture because, as we know, Western finished fourth. It's very possible. I think it's probably more probable than them facing Brisbane Roar. So
a chance for redemption.
And absolutely a chance for redemption.
Again, as always, Athos Sirianos talking football, the round ball code. Let's finish it now with some outstanding football that was played overnight. In Europe, we now know who are going to be in the final of the Champions League.
Yes, PSG make their long-awaited debut in the
Finally.
final. But they're up against the Bundesliga behemoth in Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern Munich have played, throughout their 10 Champions League games, have scored 42 goals. So that's 4 goals a game, essentially. And they don't stop at 4 or 5, as we saw against Barcelona. They'll kick 7, 8 goals.
I was just going to say that average of 4 got serious boost when they scored 8 against Barca. I mean, oh dear. Look, some of those results, some of those 6s and 7s and 8s, we used to see in the 60s and 70s, with Ferenc Puskás and De Stefano playing, but we thought those days were long gone. No, they haven't. Athos, have you got a favourite for the title? Do you think it's going to be the magic of Munich, or is it going to be the wizardry of Neymar and some of the Argentinians that make up that very talented squad at Paris Saint-Germain?
I think Bayern would be the safe bet. They're incredibly disciplined. They know what it's like to win Champions League, and I don't see them losing on the weekend.
All right. The disappointment for you this year, if we say a plus and a minus, what was the disappointment of the year? Was it the fact that it came to a suspension and then started again? Was that the disappointing part of the league?
And we didn't crown a Ballon d'Or winner. And this season, Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich was the real favourite. Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have dominated this award for the last 10-15 years, and he was a genuine contender to take that crown off them. So a lot of people were really disappointed by that.
And just before we go, we can't finish a conversation about football without talking about one of the biggest names in the game, Lionel Messi. What's happening? Is he staying or going from Barca?
Well, there seems to be a headline every 6 months that is
every
is
6
going
days,
forward. Especially when Barcelona lose a big game. So they've lost all the last 3 Champions League campaigns. They've gone down quite dramatically, and I think after every one of those losses, there have been headlines saying that there needs to be reform. But each time Messi stays, so
but they've got a new coach. Koeman has been appointed.
Yes, so Setien becomes I think one of the first Barcelona managers in God knows how long to not win a title, whether that's the Copa del Rey or the La Liga. So quite a disappointment.
So it's out with the old and someone new coming in.
Ronald Koeman. So interesting times ahead.
Athos Sirianos, thank you for joining us on The Informer and giving us a lowdown on football, the world game. If you want to know any more, make sure you follow FNR, Football Nation Radio.